Bull or bear? Whoa, almost went off the desk there. And it looks like it's going to be a bull. Hey, that's a good sign for the opening on New Year's. Good afternoon. Hey, what's up? This is Brian Kuzmar with Commercial Rare Coins and Precious Metals in beautiful Lauderdale by the Sea. Got the live John Pennekamp cam up today, and wow, I haven't had the fish cam up for a while. Why? Because I've been doing the videos mostly in the evening. Did not get a chance to do one last night. As you know, for the last couple months, I've been quite busy with so many things going on. But I'm still managing to get these videos popped out, and I'd like to thank everyone out there for viewing these videos and supporting my channel, as well as all the commenters out there. And we'll get to yesterday's comments as well. Man, I'd love to keep this camera up for a little bit. I saw some barracudas, like a school of barracudas somewhere out there floating around as well. Pretty cool camera. You can watch it yourself at the Pennekamp Coral Cam. A little slow today. It's got the little lag time here today. I'm not sure if it's me or my internet connection, but wow, what a beautiful day out there. I think that's a parrotfish. All kinds of cool fish out there. Hope you're having a wonderful New Year, well, not New Year's Day, day before New Year's Eve day, and hope you're going to also have a very safe and fun New Year's Eve night. And if you do what I do, well, you'll probably sit and watch everybody else having fun, but it seems to be the safest way to do it. Let's take a look at the spot prices here, folks, and see what's going on out there. This is the closes for this year. I mean, that's basically it. 1824, we did close above that $1,800 mark. You know, I was, kind of gun shy, like a redheaded stepchild that's been beaten so many times. I don't know if that's appropriate to use. That I felt that, just like we do every week, holiday trading times, when there's not many out there playing, that they were going to monkey hammer the price of gold, silver, and platinum down. But no, not at all. We kind of, not that we've done any better at the start of the year. I think we're kind of sitting near that par level, actually, from where we started at the beginning of 2022. But we're ending up there as well, above $1,800 gold, above 23 or almost $24 silver. I'm sure if you look at the ass side, it's like 24, and platinum closing above $1,000. I think this bodes well for the New Year's. I really do. I just got this feeling that these markets that didn't get monkey hammered the last 2 weeks too badly, like they typically have around the holiday season, that we're probably things are changing out there. I really believe that. I think things are changing in the crooked Crimex markets, and we'll get to that in a moment. Actually, we'll get to that real quick here. Not much to talk about. I still think it's a great buyer's market for gold, silver, and platinum. I think it even at double these prices, it's probably not a bad buyer's market, considering what the alternatives are based on what we're seeing in the world. And remember, I talk about gold, silver, and platinum as being a hedge against a falling dollar, and also something that you'll wake up in the morning and you'll never hear that it went bankrupt, or just plain out disappeared unless you don't hide it well. And we've talked about that before as well. Let's get into what I want to talk about today, which is next year's saying, next year's quote. I usually use one quote for the whole year, and I got to come up with a new one for next year. You guys got any thoughts or comments? Let me know in the comment section here. Maybe this is it. George Costanza and Jerry Seinfeld's "It's not a lie if you believe it." That probably should be the quote for last year, but I have a feeling they're not over. We're not over the lies, and boy, really, this would be a great quote for next year. It's not a lie if you believe it. However, why am I saying that? Because it's kind of true, folks, whether it's politics that we're seeing out there. I mean, they don't even try to hide the lies anymore when it comes to politics, when it comes to economics, when it comes to our marketplaces. They don't even try to hide it. And that's why I think this would probably be a great saying. It's not a lie if you believe it. Because you know what, folks? The truth of the matter is 99% of the folks out there believe these lies. Most folks, and you can't blame them. Who wants to sit around and watch congressional meetings? Who wants to sit around and watch shows about economics? I mean, who studies much about economics? Our whole country is built on the fact that we expect that that our marketplaces are safe, that government's safe for us, that they keep and cheap and well run. But again, I digress. That applies to our politics. That applies to our economics as well. We expect, we don't want to go take courses in economics and have to learn how to run a country. We kind of expect that to be done for us. Same thing with our marketplaces and our regulatory agencies that we have that are supposed to keep an eye on things. I mean, well, you silver folks out there know that's a big lie. Anyone that's familiar with the Crimex markets, the LBMA, the LME market, knows that these markets are highly rigged, and it's got to make you question other markets as well. But the lies have just gotten, when they get caught, they just lie more. And as I've always said, they double down on stupid as well. 99% of the people get their news from mainstream corporate news out there, folks. They get their financial news from Bloomberg, Financial Times, Wall Street Journal. Again, that's like, a lot of us say, "Oh, that's so stupid. I can't believe who could believe that the CME Group and the LME allow their players to manipulate markets in their favor? Who could believe that it's potential that elections may have issues? Who could believe?" 99% of the people do, folks. Very slim amount of, well, maybe it's even more growing on the political side, but when it comes to economics in our marketplaces, most people are entirely clueless. I mean, that's why the lie, that most people would not want to pay for regulatory agencies like the CFTC, which is completely worthless as tits on a log as far as I'm concerned, and a lot of people way smarter than me are concerned. Most people believe that the CME Group, where the commodities exchange groups across the world are legitimate marketplaces. Most people believe that. Most people believe that the people that run our country understand this right here, economics. And again, most people believe what they hear on the little bit of news that they hear each night. And that's where I was kind of starting from. A majority of folks out there don't want to get degrees in economics. A majority of folks out there don't want to, and you can't blame them. You can't blame a lot of people. Don't want to get a degree in political sciences or international politics. Most people don't want to get a good degree and even understanding their own government and understanding what the Constitution means. I mean, we kind of gloss through that when we're in our high school years. Even me as a baby boomer glossed through that, but it's even lost more and more. 99% of the people out there are clueless, folks. And if you don't believe that, here's the best I can tell you is keep smiling and drinking the Kool-Aid. But also, when it comes to the lies, and where am I going with this? We're going to get into that in a moment as well, because that has been the theme for this show for the last 3 years. This particular subject, in one way or another, has a lot to do with prices of gold, silver, and platinum, and why gold, silver, and platinum will be a great place to have your money because of the lies, because of the deceit, because of the stupidity. And because of doubling down on stupidity. And again, just the fact that 99% of the people out there, really this is it. It's not a lie if you believe it. And a lot of people believe the lies out there still, folks. But that's shrinking and shrinking and shrinking. More and more people are understanding, at least on the political and the economic side, that we're being lied to. Maybe not so much in markets. People still have trust in these marketplaces and these regulatory agencies. Again, but like I said, where do they get most of their information from? Wall Street Journal, Bloomberg, Financial Times, all these mouthpieces for those government agencies and for the government and for these manipulative, large, collusive traders and players out there, mostly banks, folks. That's who I'm talking about. Meanwhile, most of these people also, the people that 99% of people haven't a clue. There's a certain percentage, maybe 0.5% or 0.75%, maybe that are just suffering cognitive dissonance right now because, the lies, people. There's a lot of smart people out there. 99% of the people in this country are not stupid. Don't get me wrong on that. But their expertise is not in economics, politics, international, not even in our own Constitution, unfortunately. And 99% of people expect the people representing us out there to do the right thing for us based on these laws and the laws of economics and the laws of the Constitution and the laws of ethical politics and international politics as well. And they suffer cognitive dissonance. And cognitive dissonance is when people hold a core belief that is very strong. When they are presented with evidence that works against that belief, the new evidence cannot be accepted. It would create a feeling that is extremely uncomfortable called cognitive dissonance. And that's why we've got this angst out there, this general angst and malaise that I see settling across this country this last couple of years, because a large segment of the population is seeing the bullshit more and more and more. Again, a lot of them, but they are suffering. I mean, that's the first thing you suffer, cognitive dissonance. That's the first thing that you suffer after you've gone through your fifth or sixth Christmas, and your parents or somebody tells you there is no Santa Claus. There's your cognitive dissonance, and that's exactly what I think this country is suffering after the last few years, is that they are starting to understand that they're being lied to in economics and their marketplaces and their political places, that they are being lied to in a major way. And cognitive dissonance is probably the first, it's what is it, fight or flee or whatever, I forget the name for that term, flight or fright or something like that, or fight or whatever, fight, flight, or fright or something. And I think most people get cognitive dissonance because, again, the people that you've trusted to give you the truth, the people that you felt you were getting somewhat the truth from, when you find out they lied to you, this is the first thing you suffer. So I think a large segment of the country is suffering this, except for you silver and gold buyers who've been noticed and know for a fact that our markets have been rigged for quite some time. And again, for you folks that don't believe that, keep smiling and keep drinking the Kool-Aid. I'm sure you probably already shut this video off. What am I talking about? I'm talking about the big lie that we all know about, the big lie in our particular market, which is the criminal, in my opinion, again, the opinion of people much smarter than me, the criminal CME Group, the world's leading derivative marketplace, and even right on their front page, they tell you right here, paper bullshit. And again, that's what our silver market's been run by for quite some time. This is why silver is so cheap. This is why gold and platinum are probably so cheap as well, being heavily manipulated in the marketplaces for where price discovery is made. And again, I'm not going into that. You guys could probably, most of my regular listeners probably go, oh gosh, we're talking about that again. Yeah, well, we kind of are, because it's the theme for the last 3 years, and we have. If there's one thing that I can do on this channel, is one thing I can do. Well, first, I know prices really well. I've been doing this since 1977 when I started working for my father. I've been through the 81 bullion market, the 2011-12 heights of silver at that point. And I've seen a few good markets. I know this market, and one thing I do well, again, is I can tell you what the best deals to buy out there, what the best products to buy out there, which I do on my channel quite often. But one of the most important thing that I really want to do in these videos, and I know it gets to be repetitive at some point, but is to talk about this criminality. And not just when the markets are down and when it gets monkey hammered down, everyone's like, oh, it's the Crimex markets, it's the criminal paper markets, it's JP Morgan. Folks, you got to realize, even in the up markets, we're up $5 or $6 from where we were in silver. I'm still complaining about it. You know why? You know why I keep bringing this up, and why you need to keep thinking about it. And we need to get the word out there. It has to be. We need to get to people that are suffering cognitive dissonance that this market is not monkey hammered and rigged. The silver market so badly, like we've been, like we know. We need to, and for the people that are suffering this right here, what George Costanza says, it's not a lie if you believe it. The people that believe that our regulatory agencies are honest and upright and do the right thing. The people that believe that the CME Group, the casino that they run called the CME Group, where they allow this collusive, manipulative behavior to happen for years and years. And if it happens in silver, trust me, it probably happens in soy, wheat, and all those other things as well. For those people, there's a lot of people out there suffering cognitive dissonance because they've heard from their buddy, yeah, silver's rigged, or this market's rigged, or that's rigged, and they still haven't. But you have to keep repeating it. Kind of like if you keep repeating a lie, it eventually becomes true. Well, if you keep repeating the truth, you're going to have a larger segment of people out there that are going to understand, see the truth, know what it is, and understand that most of the shit that we see is bullshit, especially when it comes to corporate media, our regulatory agencies, and these big corporate entities like the CME Group, who have been rigging silver prices for the last 40 years. As far as gold prices go, where do they get rigged? I think they're rigged by the top dogs out there, government, central bankers, that kind of thing. But that's a whole different story for another day. Meanwhile, where was I going with this? I don't know. Capitulation. I knew there was something here. Let me get a sip of coffee here. Michael Matthews, what's up? A lift to the coffee cup, since that's what you usually throw me at the in the comment section, is a coffee cup. Cheers to you. Capitulation, folks. One thing that I knew one thing. I keep saying one thing. I only knew one thing. I'm stupid in everything else. Well, that may be true, but the thing that I know for certain is that I knew for years and years and years, even back in the 80 and 81 market. I mean, I was a young person back then. I saw that market get monkey hammered and destroyed. I knew it wasn't organic. And I'll tell you why I knew it wasn't organic, because of this word, capitulation. We did not see capitulation in the 80-81 market. So, well, 80-81 market was very unique, and I'll tell you why. Way uniquer than what we've got now, is because we had in the 80-81 market, we had a huge capitulation in scrap metals, okay? Huge capitulation. This is probably something important to bring up, capitulation in scrap metals. And here, capitulation, really, what is capitulation? Let me get to that first. For some of you folks, and I know this is like basic 101 shit, you guys can fast forward to the capitulation screen if you want, but I'm going someplace with this. Capitulation in finance describes a dramatic surge of a selling pressure and a declining market or security that marks a mass surrender by investors. The resulting dramatic drop in prices can mark the end of a decline, since those who didn't sell in a panic. Capitulation typically follows a significant downturn in price, which can take place even though many investors remain bullish. Well, let me move down here, because there's a little section here that says key takeaways. All right, let's just say this and we'll get back to what I was talking about. Capitulation happens when a significant proportion of investors succumbs to fear and sells over a short period of time, causing the price of a security or market to drop sharply amid high trading volumes. Capitulation marks a short-term low in the price and is followed by at least a relief rally. Capitulation causes heavy turnover amongst investors, enabling a rebound by placing. All right, but basically capitulation is like waving the white flag. That's when, in whatever market may be, stock markets, this market, that market, capitulation is when everybody starts selling and you got less and less buyers. Therefore, what happens? The price goes down, which is something we're going to get into next, which is the key takeaway of not so much that, but the law of supply and demand, economics, how it works. Now, I'm not going to read all this to you right here, but let's take the key takeaways. The law of demand holds that the demand level for a product or resource will decline as the price rises and rises as the price drops. Okay. Conversely, the law of supply says higher demand boosts supply of an economic good, while lower one tends to diminish it. Well, more or less, you got 100 buyers and you've only got 99 items, or you got 50 items, okay? The demand for that item, the price for that item will go up higher and higher. You got more buyers and you've got supply out there, supply and demand, which causes the product to go up in price. I don't care what it is, gold, silver, platinum, you name it. You got more buyers and you got sellers, the price goes up generally to shake out the sellers a little bit, shake out more product, and vice versa. When you have a market that's declining, you have people doing what? Capitulating, selling their products. So now all of a sudden you got more products than you have buyers. Prices go down, except in the silver market for the last 40 years. And again, why is this? Because they're not selling real silver, folks. The price discovery is not made by real physical metal being traded amongst a buyer and a seller. The prices are being made by a bunch of freaking manipulative, crooked, large banks in the silver markets that drive these prices up and down at whim by using the paper derivatives that this particular group right here allows, that created. So, I mean, it's not real silver and gold. And that's where I was getting to back in the 1981 market. The big lie, of course. No capitulation. Even in the 80-81 market, I didn't see any large-scale movement of investors selling their silver. Silver, I'm talking about silver bars, silver coins, silver products that investors bought. But the unique part of the 1980 and 81 market is we had huge amounts of scrap coming in. It's probably offset the capitulation because that was the first great, so I mean, think about it, in $1980, $50 silver is just, what is that now? $50 silver now would be, $50 silver in 1980s would be compared to what? 500? I don't even know. On a real inflation level, on the real, not inflation, but in the real value of how much the dollar has dropped since 1980-81, what would that be now? Again, $500 silver? $500 silver was certainly I'm pretty sure, given the proper environment, unless we were just in an Armageddon type environment with the dollar, $500 silver would definitely bring out a lot of capitulation, not capitulation, but sellers for sure. But I didn't see, and even at 80, 81, I didn't see large capitulation by the investors, the people that were buying silver. We did see huge capitulation in 99% of the public that were trying to get rid of their silver trays or their old gold jewelry or this or that, especially in the silver realm. I mean, you can't believe what was melted in 1980 and 81. That was the first big silver market ever. Everything came out of the woodwork. So there was huge supply out there in scrap metal in 1980, 81. What's the difference between the next market we saw in 2011, 2012? Very little scrap coming in, even when silver was shooting up to that $30 and $40 and $50 mark. Another interesting parallel between 2011, when we saw 2012, I think it's that time when we saw $50 silver, was the difference between 81 and 2011 or 12, whatever our height was for silver at the time, was that we had huge amounts of scraps in 80 and 81. We didn't have a huge amount of scrap in the 2011 market. In fact, very little comparatively speaking. There was stuff coming in, but not as much as we saw in that market. But silver, again, made greater climbs when you figure the relative value of a dollar from 80 to 81. But what did I see in 2012-11 market that was similar to the 1980s market? No investor capitulation. I am on the front lines of selling large amounts of silver and gold to retail types. I mean, I've been in the retail and the wholesale precious metals market for quite some time. I started working for my father in '77, but I haven't seen any capitulation as far as supply and demand. Well, haven't seen any capitulation as far as the retail investors when the market hit that $50 market in 2011. The interesting thing is, I do believe that even since 1980s, is a lot of people that have invested in and bought gold and silver. They buy it for the long term. They're going to die with it. That's one of the things that I hear the most with, a lot of silver buyers. I mean, a lot, and some of my big silver buyers too, my larger silver buyers. You know what I hear from them? No, I'm leaving this for the kids. I'm going to die with this. I'm going to leave it for the kids. I heard that in 1980s. I heard that in 2011 and 12, especially with silver people, silver folks particularly. But the same thing with gold too. When someone becomes a hardcore stacker, they kind of hang on to it. But we just have not seen any capitulation. Even when silver went from $30 an ounce to $20 an ounce, there was no physical capitulation out there. And again, what does this mean? It means all the capitulation, if you could call it capitulation, was done in the leading derivatives paper bullshit marketplace, which is the CME Group's COMEX group, which your price discovery is made. So people are still out there stacking, folks. Don't ever let this particular group and their bullshit paper, their bullshit prices fool you into thinking that there isn't great supply and demand for silver, because there is. That's for certain. Wow, what a beautiful, by the way, I should say, what a beautiful Saturday we're having here. 72 degrees. And the beaches aren't that busy. I gotta tell you, hang on, well, hold on. I digress. I just saw a bunch of people walking by and enjoying their day, and you know how, ADD Brian, my attention got thrown off real quick. But, again, we've been talking about this crooked behavior for such a long time. And the reason I just keep bringing it up, folks, because first off, it's bullshit. The price crash in the 1980s was caused by, everyone thinks that the Hunt brothers crashed the market, or they caused the market to go up because they saw the sham that the CME Group was running. They knew that there wasn't enough physical silver to back up the CME Group's contracts or any other contracts out there, and they called the bluff. A lot of people think that the Hunt brothers did something illegal. No frickin' way. They played the game rule perfectly, man. They blackjacked the fucking house. Excuse my language. Probably just got knocked down by a few viewers and getting a top rating on YouTube. But that's true. They had the perfect hand. And you know what happened to the Hunt brothers? The bullion banks, through their back channels with their banking buddies and government, had the Hunt brothers loans called in. So that was one of the big problems the Hunt brothers suffered. Their loans that they used to buy this metal, to force the hand of the CME Group, force their other hands. For example, think about this. You're sitting at a card table. You're the Hunt brothers. You have the greatest frickin' hand in the world. We're not even talking about blackjack. You have a great hand. You're just going to bust the entire house open. And you ask your buddy behind you to loan you more money because you know you can bust the house open, all right? So your buddy hands you more money, and then you're about to you put your cards down, and the casino sees that you're going to bust the frickin' house open wide. So what does the casino do? Two things. They change the rules, and that's exactly what the CME group did on the Hunt brothers. They changed the rules, and they went around to your buddy and told your buddy, hey, get your money back. So now you not only did you not have enough money to play, it puts you in a dangerous situation that you owe players now. All right, think about it. If you're a card player, think about it. That's exactly what happened to the Hunt brothers in 1980. And I'm giving you a little lessons on silver highs and lows, and why that why the prices that we use every day, even to the upside, even a $5 higher market in silver, are rigged, crooked, frickin' prices. All right. But again, folks, what we start out in this video, the whole world is rigged around us. I mean, that's what I keep telling everyone, is always question authority. You start to find these things out. All right. Where was I going with that as well? Well, silver, I was saying earlier, silver at $30 an ounce, and down to $18 an ounce. There was no capitulation. In fact, the silver community, and maybe thanks to Wall Street Reddit apes, and more to the fact that myself and the other people that keep talking about manipulation, talking about how these crooks do it, and talking about why that makes, their manipulation plays into the hands of retail and wholesale buyers to buy these metals at freaking dirt cheap, crooked prices. It'd be like if for some reason they set gasoline at $1 a gallon for whatever their crooked reasons were. They were making money on it. Would you not go out and buy as much as you could? It would be like, the prices are just so stupid cheap, and it's because of their crookedness. And what I think has happened with the investor community, again, no capitulation out there. What is happening with the the stackers out there, the people that have been buying and selling gold for 33 and 4 decades, even the new folks, is they understand this rigging, and they understand that they're getting these even at prices way higher than we're at right today, gold, silver, and platinum, that we're getting these things at bargain basement prices because of that manipulation. It's a gift, and sometimes it's hard not to look a gift horse in the mouth. Well, folks, wow. That's basically, even to this day, I have not seen capitulation in any major form since 1980, folks. I really haven't. I've seen it kind of, over the years, people selling, but I've not seen any major capitulation. And I can think more clearly to the 2012 market, how many people bought silver and gold, people that I know to this day, large amounts of gold and silver and platinum that they paid 30 and 40 bucks an ounce for. Guess what they're doing? They're hanging on to it. They recognize that, yes, these markets are crooked. Yes, these markets are super cheap, but they are indeed a bargain. Hence the term that I hear all the time, I'm going to die with it. I'll keep it for my children. You know why? You know why they've come to that conclusion? Because, again, they understand that this crookedness behavior can't last forever. Maybe if you're 60, 70, and 80, it may last through our lifetime a bit longer, but at some point it's going to blow up in their faces, and it'll be a wonderful thing to own at that point. It still is a wonderful thing to own. You're never going to wake up and hear gold, silver, and platinum went bankrupt. All right. Let's get into gata.org. Speaking of, by the way, great site to have up on your bookmark bar up here. As you can see, I have gata.org up here. I don't like to give out homework, but I always like to give suggested reading. And for my folks out there, this is a great place to learn how the gold prices are rigged, who does it, governments, big central bankers, and that kind of stuff. And if you want to learn, I'm going to give a shout out to my man. Oh, there's my 99% logo that I use. But yes, I do. I use other people's stuff. And I'd like to thank them for it as well. Ted Butler Research. I don't show his website very often, but for the little bit of money that it costs, Ted Butler, when it comes to silver, if you're in the industry, you need to be subscribed to Butler Research LLC. When it comes to silver manipulation, how they do it, who does it, how it's done, and explained in semi-layman terms, even though it does get complicated, understanding shorts and longs and all that other stuff. and reading COT reports to me is like reading Greek. I don't get it, but I rely on Ted Butler to do this. Ted Butler is the #1 resource for information on how silver markets are rigged. And when it comes to gold markets, I think he's just as good, but most of his focus is on silver. He's been talking about how silver's been rigged for 40 years, how bad the CFTC is, and man, you wouldn't want to debate this guy. I would take the CFTC, the CME groups, best people, any regulatory agencies, best people, and any of the YouTube talking heads out there, best people, and put them up against Ted Butler in a debate. Ted Butler explaining how and why this is done, and them being the other side of the argument, and he will hands down beat the shit out of any of them. Anyways, that's how good he is, and again, I highly recommend that you subscribe to his site. He does charge for that. However, you can find a lot of his stuff for free, and I think down here he's got what he calls the free archive. So really good stuff. Again, not homework, but recommended reading, folks, for you. Well, I think that's really about it. I'm going to move into, oh man, I wanted to show you this. This is so cool. Courtesy of Zero Hedge and also courtesy of VBL, submitted by Gold Fix. Okay, I want to give proper credit. They didn't write this and do this, but they brought it to my attention, so I wanted to give them some credit. This is just so cool. It's a real quick visual. You can stop and pause this and blow up the screen, but you can see in his hand right here, he's holding some stuff, and that's what this is right here. How much of each metal can you buy? Let me reduce that one more time. Can you buy with $1,000? And to my surprise, I'd never thought about owning osmium, but I got to admit I did look and see what it cost to buy some. I just thought it was so cool. Look at that tiny piece for $1,000. Rhodium. I mean, we know some of these metals. Most of these stackers do. Platinum right there, a little cube of platinum. But from a comparative standpoint, again, the size of this gentleman, that's what $1,000 would look like in any of these metals. There's gold. There's iridium. There's palladium right there, and ruthenium. Again, a metal I don't hear too much about. I don't think the only metals on this particular, in this gentleman's hand that I've ever purchased, I've sold iridium before. I don't know, I sent it to a refiner one time. Palladium I've handled, gold, obviously, platinum, rhodium, but never osmium, I think that's correct, and iridium. I've never well, again, I did have some stuff that had iridium I think I sent to a refiner, but 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, 4 out of what is it? 4 out of 7 is not bad actually. And take a look at the silver. I was really surprised to really look at this visual and say, next to gold and platinum and palladium, silver is actually quite rare. It would fit in the palm of your hand, and you'd have a hard time holding that. That would be. I did the math myself. That would be just a little bit more than a kilo, probably. It wouldn't be 32.15, probably 45 gram block is what you're looking at right there, I suspect, just based on my knowledge. But look at the other things too. Cobalt, there's $1,000 worth of cobalt, $1,000 worth of copper, $1,000 worth of aluminum. You know what? I might just buy a $1,000 aluminum block because it's just too cool to look at, and probably a lot easier to move around than that steel block right there. But nickel surprised me as well. There's $1,000 worth of nickel. I would have expected nickel would have been cheaper than that. And even more interestingly is look at that small pile of lead for $1,000. I have a friend of mine that's in the fishing industry. He makes lures and weights and rigs and all that stuff. Really good guy. And he told me the price of lead is just like crazy. But also the density of lead is much different too, because I would bet you if you threw that block of aluminum on a scale and you threw that lead on the scale, well, I won't bet you, but I presume that the lead would weigh more. But what a great visual. Some of you might enjoy this. You can find it on Zero Hedge, or you can just pause this page and type in the site up here that I've got highlighted. Meanwhile, again, fun homework, actually. Not even fun homework, fun suggested reading. Like I said, everybody hates homework. All right, folks, I'm going to call it quits here almost. Go into yesterday's video, answer a few questions that I have. Guess what I found out too? YouTube demonetizes, and they also won't put your video up in the top spot if you throw out bad words now. And I think they've been doing that for a while because my channel sometimes is just filled with them. So there's my excuse. Bretton Woods 3 would be the video we did on Thursday night. Didn't do a Friday night video. That's what this video is for as well. Let me answer some of the comments out there. I'm going to do a quick increase in size for my old eyeballs. Not too many, actually, too. It's been very quiet out there. Well, listen, I probably have both of the big taboos in my videos on a daily basis. Every video I do. Profane language, number one, but I've always said my videos are somewhat R-rated in language. And the other thing would be politics, discussing that. So there's no one, if anyone thinks that I am what they call shadow banned, yeah, more than likely, because again, the profane language and talking about politics and opinions, they just don't like that shit. I don't know why. But no less, hey, screw them. I don't have to make a living off YouTube. That's for damn sure. Lucky me. By the way, too, if you never not see me on YouTube, don't forget to check me out on the other alternative, which I already forgot the name of. Oh, terrible me. Rumble or something like that. Oh, gosh, I forgot it already. That's a second thing to go when you get old. Be Well, Welco Services, Jake Crash, what's up? Michael Matthews, Wega Paul. Donald, I'm looking for questions answered. This is really cool, Don Desno. Kind of, you age yourself a little bit, man, but I got so much respect. That is so cool. Don drove to Key West on the old railroad highway. I didn't even get to see it. I remember when the railroad highway and parts of it are still standing in the Keys. They don't use it anymore. In fact, they use it for tourists to walk across, or parts of it people fish on, parts of it. But most of it's fallen in the water. Yeah, 1960 Cadillac convertible when gas was a quarter in 1962. Isn't that great? And isn't it kind of funny, too, that you can still buy gas with a silver quarter, Don? Think about that. A silver quarter is worth, what, $4 or $5 right now? You can still buy a gallon of gas with a silver quarter. Another great reason to own gold, silver, and platinum. Donald, what's up, man? Thank you, and I'm going to wish everyone a Happy New Year when I go. So Blackbeard says, going to miss hearing Think for Yourself and Question Authority. When you mention that, yeah, me too, really, because... And that's just like a priceless, or I should say not priceless, timeless quote. It really is. And I wish a lot of you folks would put it up on your sites and repeat it and spread it out there. I did it for the last year. But thanks, Blackbeard. I appreciate it. Also, big fan of Blackbeard, the real pirate. And not saying you're not. You probably are. Joe McDonald's, Dixville Notch, New Hampshire. Man, that's beautiful up there. Absolutely beautiful country New Hampshire is. But I can say that about every place in the United States is beautiful. Maybe not so much the governments that run them, but for the most part, I think they're all beautiful out there. Oh, wow. If you saw what I just saw walk by, you would... No, anyway, I don't want to get myself in trouble here. Oh, my gosh. Talk about ADD. That totally took my eyes off the screen, folks. Sorry about that. Phillips... Yes, it was a beautiful bird. Philip Stanton says, what are your thoughts on coin rolling and stacking pre-1983 cents? Well, I don't think you can melt any pennies here in the United States. You can melt Canadian pennies, but you can't melt U.S. pennies. Maybe if you took the pennies to Canada, you can melt them up there. But I don't know, man. I really don't see it, but I was surprised to see that penny bags now, wholesale, are 200 for common dates, maybe a little more, 225. That's what the wholesale buy price is on common date, 1959 and prior pennies. I don't know anybody paying for pre-1983 to 59 to 83 pennies. I don't know anyone paying a premium on them at all. If you do, let me know, because I can certainly load them up. Thanks for watching, Philip. I appreciate that. Christina Napolitano, yeah, I do too. I have a feeling a lot will change this year. I really do. Can't argue with that. Christopher McCormick says, can't thank you enough for suggested reading in your time. Hey, yeah, Chris, you get it. No one likes homework. Everyone likes suggested reading. I do too. Suggested is always better than demanding something. And your time spent to allow us to make informed, wise, and low premium decisions for our savings. Thank you. I appreciate that. It's one of the things I do well. And if anyone's wondering why I didn't do what the best deals are out there, by the way, I advertise to beat the best deals out there, which are AppMax, STJM, Bullion. Sorry, JTBSK2. I was going to do my little spiel before I get to your question there. So we here at Commercial Rare Coins and Precious Metals, whether you're buying $1 million worth of gold, silver, $1 million plus to $1 worth of gold, silver, and platinum, we at Commercial Rare Coins will beat AppMax, JM, and SD Bullion on their prices, and the local guys down here as well. So if you live in South Florida, we're open 10 to 4 Mondays through Fridays. We are the place to be. Great advice, great service, and great prices of what we have here. And if you don't live in South Florida and you can't visit us and you're buying larger quantities, unfortunately we can only do larger quantities on that level because we don't have an online website just trust me, folks, too expensive to build one, and it's not my realm. But if you live anywhere in the continental U.S. and you're buying more than 100 ounces of gold or 1,500 ounces of silver, we can accommodate you as well with shipping and all that good stuff, and secured shipping as long as we get secured payment. And again, give us a call if you're buying larger quantities too. Meanwhile, let me finish up. Sorry about that. Just had to get my advertising commercial in there. Thanks for what you guys do. You too, JTBSK2. I agree with you 100%. Pay off debts, owe the banks nothing, and stack physical assets. Land. You can't argue with any of that stuff. And yes, true. And even better, take care of your family and your friends first. Everything else afterwards. If you take care of your circle, then the people in your circle hopefully will take care of the people in their circle, and that circle just expands outward and outward and outward, hopefully. And it makes the world a better place to live in. I will say one thing that I think that I'd have to, I'm not disagreeing with you now, but paying off debts. I learned a valuable lesson from my partner years ago, was Bob Lessie. Bob Lessie is in the Red Book. He was one of the most respected guys in the coin business, the numismatic business, on the wholesale level, not so much the retail level. But Bob and I were partners in my store here originally when I first opened, he told me that the old school thought is be debt free, and Bob, my father, was like that too. But the old school thought was be debt free and pay off your house and have your house free and clear. Well, Bobby told me a little story about that, where he had this is when interest rates were lower. Bobby was able to take all his properties and get mortgages on them, borrow money at like super cheap rate. I think at the time it was probably like 3% or something like that. The loans were, interest rates were pretty low then, 3%, 2%, and even maybe 4%. He was borrowed against his houses, and a lot of people would say, "Oh, that's foolish. He hadn't paid off. Why would he do that?" Well, because he was making far more than the 3 and 4% interest he was paying in his business and his other assets. So Bob was paying 3 and 4% to borrow against all his properties. In fact, he probably just went full on debt load, borrowed a shit ton of money at super cheap interest rates, and made far more than that. But Bobby wouldn't have just made, if he's paying 3 or 4% interest, trust me, he wasn't making 8 and 10%. He was probably making 15%, 20%. He was a very aggressive, intelligent, smart market maker. It doesn't always pay off your properties. I mean, sometimes it pays to borrow money only if you can make that money worth more than what you're borrowing, if that makes sense. Hey, I'd like to thank everybody here for watching. Make sure you hit that share button. Make sure you hit that like button. And most of all, hit that subscribe and that little bell that you guys have up here somewhere. That'll alert you when my new videos come up. Meanwhile, oh man, I've got to tell you, boy, that was cool. That's Sloppy Joe's, in case you guys didn't watch that video. Here, I got my thing on. But meanwhile, I hope everyone is having a beautiful evening like these folks did on Thursday night. This is Thursday night's video on the live Sloppy Joe Duval Street cam in Key West. I imagine it's going to be awesomely packed tonight. Gotta have to take a look at that camera. It's probably busy as hell down there today. But meanwhile, I hope everyone has a safe, wonderful holiday, and I hope next year for all my viewers out there that you have a safe, fun, and very profitable new year. At least try to maintain your wealth, okay? That's it. I think, I can't say I would never show this again, but this is it for this quote for the year, folks, which is think for yourself and question authority. And if you don't know what I mean when I say that, you can probably watch some of my past videos and figure it out real quick. And if you're watching my video anyway, you're way smarter than most people, and you already know what this means. And teach your kids this, and teach the people around you how to think for yourself. And of course, I always say, even question what you think you know. Some of our most well-intentioned people in our lives, people that we love the most, we trust the most, didn't always get it right themselves. And if they got it wrong, and even with their best intentions, and I'm talking about the best intentioned people, and they gave it to you wrong, guess what? We got it wrong ourselves, folks. So even question what we know. Take the time to research what you think is the truth out there. Sometimes you'll find that we're not always right, and it makes us a better person for that. And how does that make the world better? Well, again, it makes the people around us better, and if they're learning stuff like this, thinking for themselves and questioning authority, then it means the people outside their circle are doing the same. That's why I repeat this all the time. Well, that's it, folks. This is Brian Kuzmar at the end of the year, wishing you all a Happy New Year. Again, one more time for my advertising here. If you live in South Florida and you want to buy, sell gold coins, silver coins, platinum coins, any kind of precious metals, even rare coins and paper money, come see us at Commercial Rare Coins and Precious Metals. We're open 10 to 4 Mondays through Fridays. And as you know, I always say I'll beat the big guys out there, the 800-pound gorillas like Atmex, SD, and JM Bullion, because who do you want to beat? You want to beat the best, and that's what I do. Same thing here in South Florida. I'll beat the big boys out here in South Florida and the locals as well, and I love them all, most of them. So nothing wrong with that. Again, if you want to go somewhere, you got to be competitive, and if you're going to be competitive, who you want to be competitive against? The best, and I am. Hey, thanks for watching. Happy New Year's. Love you all, and talk to you soon, hopefully. Bye now.